Who did you want to do with that?
If Mr. Clinton was hoping for a foreign policy triumph, he wouldn't get it here.
Later that day, Clinton received a warmer reception from Clinton's mentor, former President Boris Yeltsin, and he issued a warning about the new Russian president. Bill Clinton looked hard into Yeltsin's eyes and said, "I'm a little bit concerned about this young man that turned over the presidency. He doesn't have democracy in his heart, and he hoped in his heart." And I will never forget the effect that the expression came over Yeltsin. I think it really shook Yeltsin. But in front of the cameras, Clinton walked. I think it really shook hoped in his heart. And I will never forget the effect that the expression came over Yeltsin. I think it really shook Yeltsin.
Clinton was a cold fish. We had no interest in dealing with Clinton. Clinton felt insulted and rebuffed. Who didn't want to have anything to do with Clinton?
If Mr. Clinton was hoping for a foreign policy triumph, he wouldn't get it here.
Later that day, Clinton received a warmer reception from Putin's mentor, former President Boris Yeltsin, and he issued a warning about the new Russian president. Bill Clinton looked hard into Yeltsin's eyes and said, "I'm a little bit concerned about this young man that turned over the presidency to. He doesn't have democracy in his heart. He showed hope in his heart. And I will never forget the effect that the expression came over Yeltsin. I think it really shook Yeltsin. But in front
Hello, everyone. A warm welcome to you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on whichever part of the world you are tuning in from. Well, it's the first trading day of the week, and I am very, very excited to welcome you to yet another promising edition of the Forex Morning Mastery with Sheriff Daramola. I do hope you had a wonderful weekend. Trust you're all doing very well. Let me know in the comment section what your weekend was like. Well, for me personally, it was quite very busy for me as I was indoors all days doing some of my works and also getting prepared for the trading week. So you're all welcome and glad to have you around for today. And in preparation for this week's trading session, of course, you know we've conducted a comprehensive analysis of the financial market, and in fact, for this week, we are going to be looking at three major assets to monitor. Though I published two, but we are going to be deliberating on a top-down analysis on the third one. So for this week, we are going to be looking at the GBPUSD, the USDJPY, and of course the XAUUSD, which is popularly known as the gold spot. And in fact, we have quite an interesting yet simple setups that we are going to be using to guide our trading decisions for this week. And for those who have been following me on this channel, you definitely must have gotten these videos, which of course we are using in preparation for today's session. As you all know, the Forex Morning Mastery with Sheriff Daramola is more of a follow-up detail to these videos I normally share during the course of the week. Hence, we normally focus on the 1 hour time frame. So with that being said, for those who are joining us for the first time, you're highly welcome. I don't forget you guys, and always very grateful to have newcomers in the house. And you might be asking, what is this all about? Well, the Forex Morning Mastery is a platform designed to do follow-up details to the videos I normally share during the course of the weekend. So during the weekend, I do have a handful of assets which I share with the public as to how I'm preparing for the new week. And this session here, we come here to do follow-up details. If we have any positions running, we review them, while we also strategically position ourselves for both the London and the New York session on a daily basis. So it kickstarts technically 8:05 a.m. UTC on a daily basis. So you are very much welcome, and I encourage you to stay tuned in, as the more time you spend with us, the better you get in understanding how you work and how you I just saw a comment that distracted me. So you know how it works and eventually be able to use that information to guide your own independent trading decisions. So once again, you are welcome on board. And also let me know in the comment section if the sound is good, the visuals are good. Let me know. I'll really appreciate that. Oteraf, I just saw your comment. Good morning to you. Glad to have you around today. Hope you had a wonderful weekend out there. Samuel Ayut said there, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Good morning to you and glad to have you around. I guess you're new here. This is my first time seeing something from you. Anyways, we are all welcome on board today. Now, we are going to be diving right into the details right now. And of course, for those who have been with me for a while, you know how we do it. The first thing we want to be doing is to check on the economic calendar, as by now we know how important this is, as these fundamental factors often manifest on the charts in technical patterns and price movement. By monitoring the economic calendar, we can identify potential correlations between key economic releases and specific technical patterns on the chart, hereby giving us valuable information that will make us position ourselves in such a way that we can capitalize on any of these potential moves prior, during, and even after the event. So on the economic calendar, our usual practice here is to focus on the focus on the high impact events coming in from the economic dockets that affect the assets on our watch list. And of course, for this week, we're going to be looking at the US dollar, the United States, the United Kingdom, and of course the Japanese yen. And this is based on the assets we are going to be monitoring for this week. Now, if we look at this, the calendar for this week, you will see that the high impact event would have been coming until on Wednesday. So as a result of this, I would like to include the medium impact event so we can see if there is any fundamental factors that majority in the market are looking forward to today. So if I do that correctly, let's see what we have here. So even though we included the medium impact event, there are no impactful events to look out for today. So we are going to be relying on our technical skills, trying to understand the psychology behind every price movement on the chart. And of course, we know this would reflect on the chart as price action. So with that being said here, we shall be diving right into the business. And as usual, the first asset we are going to be taking this morning is going to be the GBPUSD. So on the GBPUSD, I did not publish any material on this one ahead of this week. So because of this, I would go into the daily time frame, a higher time frame, to show you what I saw and what led into the decision I'm going to be making this morning. Now, to do this, the first chart we are going to be looking at is the daily time frame, so we can have an holistic perspective into what is really going on in this market. And in fact, for everyone here, we know how interesting this market has been in the last couple of weeks, couple of months, as we've been noticing some lower highs and lower lows in this particular market. But if we look at the trend from an holistic standpoint, it's still more of a bullish momentum as price action still remains above that ascending trend line. So if you look at what we have here on the daily time frame, you'll see I have an ascending trend line here after connecting the series of higher lows, and of course you will see that this is a bullish momentum, and as well price still remains above that structure. But that is not where our center of focus is going to be for this week. So if we zoom into this current structure to look at how the market has been playing out since the beginning of this year, there is a level here that seems peculiar through all the phase of this year, and that is the 1.2400 area, a psychological level considering the round figure of that price. Now, if you look at this level since the beginning of the year, you will see how it had played a major role in determining how price action will move. Now, for instance, if you look at what happened in the month of January, that's the first month of this year, we saw selling pressure around that area. We saw price broke out of that structure with some couple of multiple rejection of that area, and since that breakout happened in the month of April, price had remained above that key level. Now, it's very peculiar with this, and look at what happened here in the month of May. The same thing happened, and currently price action is trading just right around that area. So because we've been witnessing selling pressure for a while now in this market, doesn't mean that we are not going to be considering the potentials of buyers at this point. As you will see, we are at a crucial zone where buyers have always found strength to push price to the upside. And as a result of this observation, we have a beautiful demand zone sitting just right around the 1.235, capturing all the accumulation phase around that area. Now, the next question we are going to be asking at this point is, how will price react to this crucial zone in this market ahead of this new week? And to be able to identify that, we will want to scrutinize the lower time frame to see how participants in the market will be reacting to this current structure or the current zone during the early hours of this week. Now, there are two possibilities, of course, that could happen here. We could have a scenario whereby pressure could resume inside an uptrend scenario, or even break down that demand zone to inside a sell-off, leading to a further breakdown of that ascending trend line. So all of these are going to be what we are going to be taking into consideration while we look at the lower time frame. And I think I was able to sort out some levels here on the 4 hours time frame, which I would love to share with you before we go into the details on the 1 hour time frame, as this will also give us an holistic standpoint of what is really going on here. Now, if you look at the 4 hours time frame, I took it from around the last trading day of the month of July, so we have a time frame of about two months, let's say, to be precise, approximately. And during this phase, we can see how sellers have been very strong in this market. And as a result of this, price has gradually transitioned into a descending trend channel, which further emphasized the strength of the sellers in this market. Now, what I did here was to connect a series of lower highs and lower lows, giving us this beautiful descending trend line to work with. So we have the support line of the descending trend line, we have the resistance line of the descending trend line, and you will know that when price touches the support line of the descending trend line, we expect some bullish momentum to push price to the upside, and if price touches the resistance line of the descending trend line, we expect some selling pressure to push price to the downside. Now, if we zoom into the current structure, that is, let's look at what has been going on here in the last couple of weeks, you will see that throughout Friday's trading session, we saw price back into the support line of that descending channel. And from a technical standpoint, we should be expecting some buy pressure to resume, probably to incite a momentum into this line, or probably the resistant line that we of the descending channel. Now, we saw what happened now, and one thing here is we are at a very crucial juncture of the market right now, where buyers could push price in their favor, and as well sellers could also push price in their favor. Now, for selling momentum here, a breakdown of that support line of the descending channel is likely going to be inciting more selling opportunities, while the continued buy pressure above this area could incite an uptrend scenario. So you can see how crucial this is. I needed us to see the 4 hours time frame before we scale down into the lower time frame, where we shall be looking at how participants in the market is reacting to the zone since this week began. So to do that, we shall scale down into the 1 hour time frame, and this is what we have here. So I will just zoom right into what has been going on since the beginning of this week, as we want to see how market participants has been reacting to this area. And this is what I was able to find out this morning. We saw price started the week at around the 1.23845. So we had bullish attempt around that area this week, and we saw price climb up. But unfortunately for the buyers, we saw how sellers negated all buying attempts here, so it became difficult for buyers to break through that structure. We saw the first one, and 3 hours ago we saw the second one with a sharp rejection of that area, resulting into the formation of a shooting star candle, which from a technical standpoint reveals the presence and strength of the sellers at that point in time, leading price back to the downside. And as a result of this oscillation in price, confined within that range between the 1.24040 and the 1.23845, we have a beautiful flat channel to work with for this week. Now, you know how we do it in this community. Whenever price action falls into a range like this, it emphasizes the uncertainty in the market at that point. Hence, we want to be exercising patience, waiting for a breakout or breakdown of that range to give us an opportunity to trade. Now, with the information we have on this chart, we already have a structure, and as you will see, price has just broken down the 1.23845. For me personally, I took advantage of that one right there. Just trying to risk some of my portfolio size to see if it's going to work in that direction. But please, I want you to note that we are at a crucial moment here, where price is around the support line of that descending channel we identified on the 4 hours time frame. Now remember, this is the descending trend line, the descending channel, which is there's a support line of the descending channel, where we could likely see some buy pressure resume around that area. Now, if you had sold at this point, you want to be very careful that we don't get caught up in any bullish momentum that would take us out of the zone. So as it is right now, if you are taking advantage of the breakdown, you do want to be moving your stop losses, secure some positions here, or move it to your entry point or close to that area, and let's see how the price will react to the structure. Now, if price action goes on to break down the support line, then I will feel comfortable in the sell position. Now, we have the support line here of the descending channel we identified on the 4 hours time frame. So we're going to be looking at something like this retest of structure to feel very, very comfortable in this buy position at this point and this sell position at this point in time. So I'm hoping that price will continue to the downside, breaking down that support line of that descending channel we identified on the 4 hours time frame. And of course, we could still have a scenario where price could still come back to retest the structure that was broken here. It could even go up a little bit before it now moves to the downside, breaking down that support line of the descending channel to incite more selling pressure to the downside. So this is how I'm going to be managing my position at this point in time. Things are looking bearish at this point, but in as much as we're looking out for selling opportunities here, you know how we do it in this community, we also want to keep tabs with the opposite direction. And considering the fact that price remains above this support line of that descending channel, we might likely see some buying pressure around here that will push price to the upside. Though we've seen at the beginning of the week, but we noticed that this area here had the 1.24040 level has been serving as a barrier, negating this bullish attempt. And the only condition for me to buy the GBPUSD today is to see price break out of that area, retest of structure, and then I want to feel comfortable joining that uptrend continuation. And one interesting thing about this whole structure is our key level, which we identified earlier on the higher time frame, remember, had the 1.240, and you know how we use our key levels in this community. When price remains below the key level, we continue to look out for patterns and structure that supports the idea of selling that asset. But if price breaks out of that key level, then we want to be looking out for buying opportunity. And as it is right now, price remains below our key level. Let's feel comfortable in our sell positions, and if the opposite happens, then a breakout of the 1.24 will be all we need to be part of an uptrend scenario here. So this is my view here on the GBPUSD for today. I don't know if you have any questions as regards to my illustrations, or you need further clarifications as to how to manage this position. Feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions whatsoever before we move into the next financial asset. All right, so in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we are all on the same page. So we shall be moving right into the next financial asset on our watch list. All right, so the next asset on our watch list is my favorite, of course, the XAUUSD, popularly known as the gold spot. And on this one, I shared a video during the course of the weekend. I did a top-down analysis where I was able to identify setups that we are going to be using to guide our trading decisions for this week. And for those who have not watched that video, please do try to watch them, as this will give you a background knowledge of how we got to this point, how we were able to identify the key levels, the trend, and understand the current market structure of the XAUUSD. I did a top-down analysis on that one with some fundamental clues to what are likely going to be happening on this asset. So I have the link right in the description box below, so you might want to check them out after this session so that you can have a better understanding of what we are talking about. So basically, I'm going to be focusing on the 1 hour time frame, which is our execution time frame. So for those who are with me on both my TradingView and Telegram platform, you must have gotten an update as regards to how we are going to be managing our position for at least the first half of this week. But for those who are not with me there on those platforms, don't worry. We are going to be looking at it together here to see how we are going to be managing our positions on the XAUUSD 1 hour time frame. Now, this morning I shared an update here. So I said here that currently trading activities are hovering around the crucial 1925 zone. So this is the key level for this week. This is the level we identified in the video on the daily time frame that we said we will be using to guide our decisions for this week. So we find ourselves at a pivotal juncture in the market, and it's essential to exercise patience. While the new week has indeed kicked off with a bullish tone, it is equally important not to disregard the potential for selling pressure, especially as price action shows signs of a potential reversal pattern. To navigate this situation effectively, we will rely on the well-defined levels outlined on the chart as our guiding beacons for today's trading sessions. So now let's go back into the chart and let's see what is going on here. Now, since the beginning of this week, in fact, since last week, we saw during the second half of last week, we saw that bullish momentum that finally came in, which we, of course, took advantage of. Of course, congratulations to everyone who was part of that profitable journey. So we saw this impulsive move last week trading session run through all the way into the $1,930.50 area. Now, interestingly, we saw at the beginning of this week that the week started on a bullish note, as you will see here. Price action started at around the $1,922.50 level, giving us signs that we might likely be seeing the uptrend continuation that started last week. Now, we saw what happened. Price climbed up, as you will see, in line with the momentum from last week, as you will see. But as soon as price got into the $1,930.50 level, we saw selling pressure resume around that area, just like what happened here last week, Friday. As you will see here, we are seeing the same thing happen around here. And in the last 3 hours, sellers had continued to maintain that barrier for buyers at this point. Now, this calls for some attention at this point. What is really going on here? Now, in that regard, we have a range, of course, where price is still confined within. That's between the 1,930.50 and the 1,922.50. Now, normally when we have this kind of range, you know how we do it in this community. We want to wait for a breakout or breakdown of that range to give us an opportunity to trade. But in this case scenario, I'm beginning to see something that looks like a reversal pattern, especially if you take into consideration the impulsive move that brought us to this point. Now, if you look at it closely, you see we have an impulse leg. Price was unable to break out of the $1,930.50 level. We saw the same thing happen this morning, and we might likely be seeing price come back into the $1,922.50 level to give us something that looks like a reversal pattern in the form of a double top structure. And you know how we do it whenever we identify this transition of price action into a reversal pattern. We want to be identifying a neckline, which we shall be using to validate that reversal pattern, which interestingly shares a confluence with the support line of this range at the $1,922.50 level. Now, for this reversal pattern to be confirmed, we would need price to break down, retest. Please, I would need some confirmation in this case scenario. And the reason why that is simply because of the strength of the bullish momentum that started last week. So I really need to see price break down, retest of structure to give me confirmations that sellers is likely going to be dictating the pace before I jump into any decline at this point in time. So that is the only condition that will make us want to be selling the XAUUSD, but I doubt that will happen today based on the strong momentum. But if it does happen, we want to be ready to capitalize on that move. Now, the other perspective we are going to be looking at here is to position ourselves just right above the $1,930.50 level to capitalize on the uptrend continuation, where a breakout of this level would have taken out all the sell position around the zone to give us a good signal that we are likely going uptrend. Then if we are lucky enough, a retest of structure will be a beautiful confirmation and give us more confidence to maintain our bullish momentum. So this is how we are going to be managing this trade on the XAUUSD for today. So our center of focus is basically between the $1,930.50 and the $1,922.50 area for today's trading session. So you do want to be marking out these levels, and let's keep our attention around this area as we continue to monitor price action. And of course, if there is any significant evolution of price action along the line, I will definitely give you updates on both my TradingView and Telegram platform. So I don't know if you have any questions whatsoever as regards to this current setup or illustration. Please feel free to let me know right in the comment section. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions whatsoever, and of course you can use that time to mark out these levels on your chart, as you will be needing them as a reference point to guide your independent trading decisions. Okay, I see a couple of comments here. Malukit Zone, good morning to you, Malukit Zone. How are you doing today? Glad to have you around. Peter Eze is asking, how do you analyze, I think that's what you want to say, analyze the buy areas? I'm not sure I understand what you mean by that. I will really appreciate if you can rephrase that statement again to make me understand what you mean. How do you analyze the buy areas? I'm not sure I understand. Please let me know what you mean again. I'll really look forward to your rephrase. Sharif Abubakar, thank you very much. Thanks for the compliments. I really appreciate. I'm glad to have you around with us this morning. Trust you had a wonderful weekend. All right, so in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we are all on the same page. So in that regard, permit me to move right into the next financial asset on our watch list. So the next asset on our watch list for today is the USDJPY, and once again I would like to say here that I did a publication on the USDJPY for this week, and that was yesterday, and I shared it on my YouTube channel, and I hope you watch that video because it's very necessary you watch these videos, as it will give you a background knowledge of how we got to this point, so you would not feel lost along the line. The links are right in the description box of this current video you are watching. You can click them after the live session so you can watch them and understand, and of course use it as a tool to understanding how to use price action to look out for trading opportunities on your chart. So now this is the 1 hour time frame of the USDJPY, and I would like to run through my commentary this morning. For those who are with me on both TradingView and Telegram platform, you must have gotten an update in that regard. So let's run through this together again, and let's see what we said we are going to be doing here this morning. So I said here that despite the recent upward movement in price action, this week's trading began on a somewhat bearish note, as market activities has so far failed to breach the key level had the 147.950. So this was the key level we identified in the video during the course of the weekend, and this is going to be serving as a major yardstick to guide our decisions for this week. Price staying below the key level, we continue to look out for selling opportunities, and if price breaks out of the key level, we will be looking out for buying opportunity. So I said here that it's important to remain open to the possibilities of a bullish resurgence. To navigate the current market conditions, we've pinpointed a distinct trading range on the 1 hour time frame. This range will serve as a valuable guide for our trading decisions for today. Now let's go back into the live chat and let's see what is going on here. Well, first of all, for those who watched my video, I talked about this uptrend continuation pattern after taking into consideration the impulsive move that got us to this point. So we had something like a what's it called, an ascending triangle, sorry, that wanted to escape my mind there. So we had an uptrend continuation pattern here, that is an ascending triangle. And of course, when we have an ascending triangle where price continues to knock the ceiling multiple times, we know at some point in time this ceiling will cave in to incite that bullish momentum. And as it is right now, the only condition that will make us want to be buying the USDJPY is for price breaking out, retesting the 147.950, which happens to be the resistant line for this week, actually around that area, and of course the key level for this week. So that is the only condition that will make us want to be buying this from an holistic standpoint. Now, if we zoom into the current structure to see how market participants has been reacting to the zone since the beginning of the week, we can see here that price has been confined within the 147.890 and the 147.600 area since the beginning of this week. And of course, price has started the week on a bearish note, as you will see that buyers have found it difficult to break through that area around our key level, that's around the 147.890, as we saw selling pressure resume, pushing price to the downside. Now, as soon as price tested the 147.600, we begin to see some buy pressure here in the last couple of hours. Now, will this be the platform that will incite the breakout of that resistant line for this week? And I want to show you something here. What makes this 147.600 more interesting is the fact that it also shares a beautiful confluence with that ascending trend line. Now, is it that price is dropping into that ascending trend line to respect it one more time, gain some liquidity strong enough to push price to the upside? Well, we will need patience to identify this. So for the next couple of hours, we'll continue to monitor how price will be reacting to that 147.600 confluence with an ascending trend line. Now, one thing I want to be looking out for here to feel very confident that we might likely be seeing a bullish momentum is if price could transition into something like a double bottom structure or any reversal pattern we can think of around this area, something like this. Then we mark out a neckline, breakout retest, giving us a beautiful opportunity to join even before the breakout of the resistance line happens. So if we can join early enough, then this will put us in a better position to be able to maximize the potential of that bullish momentum. So we will be having a small stop loss area for this one, and of course have a buy stop order above the 147.890, 147.950 zone, which is serving as our key level for this week. So that is what I'm going to be looking at here. So this structure here, despite the strong selling pressure since the beginning of this week, there is still the chances that buyers will come in around this area as price remains above the ascending trend line and of course the 147.600. Now there is a contrary to this structure here. Now, if the contrary happens and price drops, breaking down the 147.600, which of course at the breakdown of the 147.600, price would have broken down that ascending trend line. Now, if a breakdown of the ascending trend line happens, this will be the first time price will be breaking down that ascending trend line since the beginning of this month. And if this happens, this will be a beautiful signal that we are likely going to be seeing a downtrend movement. Now, to do this, we want to position ourselves below the 147.600. So as soon as we have the breakdown of the 147.600, a retest on our lower time frame, like the 5, 10, 15 minutes time frame, will be a beautiful opportunity to be part of a downtrend movement. So this is how we are going to be selling the USDJPY for today. So we are not selling unless price breaks down both the ascending trend line and of course the 147.600. So let's see how the market will play out in the next couple of hours, and trust me, I will be with you in the comment section of both my TradingView and Telegram platform to give you updates as at when due. So while we look out for buying opportunities above this area, if anything comes up, in fact, I would love to scale down into the 15 minutes time frame and let's look at this together. So, okay. All right. So we have something like this right now. So we really don't have any structure here, though it's looking at see if we have a double bottom structure here on the 15 minutes time frame, something like this, higher lows and a breakout of the neckline. Well, let's position ourselves anywhere above the 147.740 to capitalize on that uptrend move. So anywhere above the 147.750 will look promising, as price will be breaking out a new high after consecutive higher lows formation on this one. So let's see how this will play out. If anything interesting comes up, I will definitely give you updates on both my TradingView and Telegram platform. So let's see if we have any questions. If you have questions, please let me know in the comment section, as this is what I have for you on the USDJPY. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions before we start rounding off for today's trading session. All right, everyone. So, okay, so I wanted to share with you the link to the XAUUSD live monitoring window. Okay, so I'm just trying to look up for that link. Here we go. All right. So I just shared the link to the XAUUSD live window. And for those who don't know what the XAUUSD live window is, the XAUUSD live window was born about 2 months ago now. Our time flies, just like that. Tap, tap, tap. It was born like 2 months ago, and the motive behind this was, of course, due to popular demand. Everyone was asking for a live monitoring of the XAUUSD, and this platform was born. So we come together here proud to the New York session to monitor real-time price action on the XAUUSD chart. So you have the privilege of seeing how we enter trade, we execute trades, and how we plan for potential trading opportunities as well, and how we guide our existing positions. So you don't want to miss out on that session. It starts 5 to 10 minutes into the New York session, and the link is right in the description box below. Sorry, in the comment section. So you can just click on the link, click on the notify me button so you can get notified as soon as we come online. So I look forward to seeing you right there on that one. So it has been a wonderful moment out here today. Thank you very much. I really appreciate every single moment with you guys. I see your comment, Princess, Otiraf, Samuel, Malu, Peter, Sharif. You guys are very wonderful. And for those who are behind the scenes, I really appreciate your audience. Please don't forget to support the project. If you have found this content helpful and useful in making your independent trading decisions for today, please, the cheapest way you can support this project is by clicking on the like button. Your likes are very valuable to me, and of course it helps the YouTube algorithm to promote the video to a wider audience of traders who may find this content beneficial to them too. And if you haven't, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel for more of this insightful content, so that whenever I upload new videos and commentaries, you will get notified as soon as I do so. So thank you very much, guys. It has been a wonderful moment, and I'm very confident that we're well prepared for today's trading session. So we were able to attend to the USDJPY, the GBPUSD, and of course the XAUUSD, where we were able to identify simple setups that we are going to be using to guide our trading decisions for this week. And for those who missed out on the session, don't worry, there's going to be a replay immediately after this video closes. So thank you very much, guys, and I look forward to seeing you right in the comment section as we continue to monitor price action. Do have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye bye.